For homicide detectives, the clock starts ticking the moment they are called. Their chance of solving a murder is cut in half if they don't get a lead within the first 48 hours.
I do anything to keep my brothers safe. I'm putting food on my daughter's plate. You fucking losers, y'all just can't relate. You harm them, you will find me on the verse 48. You will find me on the verse 48. Find me on the verse 48. I do anything to keep my daughters safe. You harm them, you will find me on the verse 48. Sitting in that room, hear the interrogator's voice. They asking why I do it. I tell them I had no choice. Couldn't take a threat or a risk to my family, so throw the book at me. I take them charges happily. Ain't no need for no polygraphs or forensics. I put that fucker in a body bag, I'll admit it. Fuck a sentence or the jury that will convict me. They don't understand, it's my family, they represent me. So for them, I risk my freedom, roll the dice. I ain't got much more for you crackers, go ahead and give me life. You don't know what it's like for the people that you love. They ain't there to get salutes, they ain't there to give you hugs. The same that done pulled me from the dirt and from the mud, it's gone because of who? Y'all rather shed your blood. My brother's kids like my other kids. If you touch them, fuck around, get another bid. Plus 10, put me in the Supermax. I get super jacked, working out every day. Canteen super stack, cool with that. Long as it mean my daughter's safe. My brother's winning, that's a chance I take. Still my fate. I do anything to keep my brothers safe. I'm putting food on my daughter's plate. You fucking losers, y'all just can't relate. You harm them, you will find me on the first 48. I got wives that done gave they all to stand beside me. Kids that can't see me fall, look at me proudly. Respected by men with honor up on their names. You harm one of them, I promise that you'll see pain. I'm one West train, made an oath to uphold it. Stood with my back against the wall, never folded. Grew up in the city where the love ain't brotherly. I ain't had too many friends, I ain't need the company. I'm my father's son, so I'm cool, just don't fuck with me. I say that you my homie, you're my brother, then you stuck with me. Never turn my back on mine, it's to the dirt. You cross them across that line, I end you first. What only make it worse is loyalty hard to find. Never think cause you out of sight, you out of mind. And I don't mind dying now, cause reincarnation got me coming back. Same scars in my heart aching. Be parlaying with killers from all places. Every last one of them for me a broad day shit. So what you think, I won't do it for them? Once they let me out the cell, shit, I do it again. It's for the family. I do anything to keep my brothers safe. I'm putting food on my daughter's plate. You fucking losers, y'all just can't relate. You harm them, you will find me on the first 48. Find me on the first 48. Find me on the first 48. I do anything to keep my people safe. You harm them, you will find me on the first 48.
Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rapper, busy man, shit, nigga. They take their head over, nigga.
I read what Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert, another cop just stretch the nigga. He a demon, it's an exorcism, watch I bless the nigga. You took that oath in blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision, let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit and I ain't listening, is it factive? If revenge was a woman, now I stroke that bitch like Jack the Ripper. War, we gon' run the summer, it's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young baby. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? When he saying something, I ain't hear him. This shit light. It ain't on who got this gun, it's about who gon' up that pipe first. I turn a bad situation to a game changer. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chains. Free shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand and feed you, you'll never get that hand back. Bitch, average about 10%. I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him. Just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter. God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, I with that hollow sign. Yeah, this the rim accord. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still about my bread, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
What's going on, fan? Commander General Yahanna. I just wanted to jump in with you real quick on a Wednesday night because I could not believe what I just read. I mean, I could not believe that this was allowed in niggerdom, that this was not an international crime. What I just read on, I think it was the Griot or one of the black news channels. I couldn't believe what I was reading. This came out a couple of weeks ago, but you may or may not have heard about it. Like the epitome, those the black people who are well-to-do and famous in America must never, ever, ever be something special to you without scrutiny. No matter who it is, if they are famous, if they are powerful, if they are successful, that should never be what you measure someone by, because you have great and powerful people that are pedophiles. You have great and powerful people that are murderers. You know what I mean? Hernandez that just got caught for killing one of his best friends about a year or two ago. Perfect example, superstar football player. Ray Caruth, another one, superstar football player. Mike Tyson, all right, for rape. A lot of super great, not just athletes, entertainers, forget about political figures, all of these things, okay? These, you know, for these people to be in the position they're in, you should scrutinize them before you just take them in as righteous or take them for to be something great. The measurement that should be met by you is the measurement of their heart and what they're made of. The Lord said this, he tried the reins. Let me see if I can get that for y'all real quick. The Lord said he tries the reins, man. Let me see real quick if I can get that. Meaning he checks a person out and sees what they're made of. The reins, okay, hold on a second. Let me put this in real quick. See if I can pull this for you. I'm glad you came and joined me. Let's see if we can spend a minute and get something done. I'm not getting it. All right. Hang on a second. Still not getting it. One more shot at it. And I'll get up off and I'll just break it down until I can pull it up for you right quick. Hang on one. Oh man, a minute. Had to get them for y'all another time. I pull them up as we go. The Lord said, man, he tries the reins of a man. He sees what a man is made of. You understand what a woman is made of. This is one of the reasons we have such horrible relationships. You're going to have horrible relationships if you don't try the reins of the person that you're dealing with. And that ain't no guarantee that it ain't going to be bad or bumpy or rocky or whatsoever. But you should definitely, as much as possible, examine the people that you deal with. And the reason you need to do it so much is because a whole lot of people are influencing us the wrong way. So let me get into this real quick and talk about this a little bit. Now, one last thing I need to pepper it with real quick is that many of you know that I've said time and time again that they was going to cut you off from the vaccines. And the thought among the wealthy is so prevalent about cutting you off from the vaccines that they don't even have a problem hiding how they feel about you not getting the vaccines. They don't even have a problem with it. Here's Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley. I mean, got to be the most Uncle Tony. A lot of you got mad because I said things about Charles Barkley in the past, but Charles Barkley is a horrible human being, man. He is a horrible, horrible human being that happened to have some skills as a basketball player. And if not for the beast that rules over the world, he would not be in the position he's in as a newscaster, because what he said, once again, they fired other sports newscasters for saying racist things, okay, against black people. But Charles Barkley gets no heat for saying, I mean, an extremely evil thing. Here's what it said. Charles Barkley, NBA players, this is his quote, should skip vaccine lines because of higher tax bracket. Imagine that. Not because they are high risk, but the fact that they make more money than the average citizen, they should get the vaccines first. Once again, an empire that only caters to the rich is destined to wipe out the poor and itself. And this is exactly what I've been talking about for so long. Like, people like Charles Barkley are the problem. Never mind the people that are poor that need it immediately. The more high risk people, elderly people like that, to him, that doesn't even matter. To him, what is more important is that they pay more taxes, so the government should help them more. When the truth of the matter is, wealthy people pay much less taxes in this evil empire. Donald Trump paid less than $800, a billionaire, a multi-billionaire paid less than $800 in taxes a year. And he's not the only one. There are tens of thousands of them. Here's what they don't tell you. One of the greatest tax shelters for the wealthy around the world is America. They love to talk about how people go put money in the Cayman Islands or money in Swiss banks, or people put money in different banks around. People do that. They do it avoiding the United States government in many cases. But when they've made their money in other places in the world, they bring their money here. Way more money comes here than the money that goes out to the Cayman Islands and Swiss bank accounts and Luxembourg and places like that. Far more money comes into the United States because this is the greatest tax haven. If you are a millionaire or a billionaire, you pay the least amount of taxes, man. The hardworking sister that makes, $500 a week, if that, she's paying easily $150 in taxes. Easily. Okay. She's paying $150 in taxes. That's $1,200 to $1,500 a year. She pays in taxes. That's more than that's twice as much as Donald Trump paid in taxes. The poor sister making $500 a week, taking care of kids. They monsters. And Charles Barkley is the spitting image of the demon of this place. A demon that has risen to such great prominence because that demon is beloved by black leaders and black religions and black churches. He's no way he's supposed to be a commentator after that statement, after such an egregious and racist statement against black people. Because who, of course, are the majority of the people in America who make no money, who will make the least amount of money? Of course, it's blacks and Latinos and Native Indians. So Charles Barkley says, skip over all of them. We pay more taxes. We should get more money, which they don't, which they do not. And as a community, the poor pay the highest amount of taxes. This is a slave operation, high-tech slave operation. He's disgusting. Let me get a little bit more. Charles Barkley decided to share his opinion on who should have priority access to the coronavirus vaccine during an episode of an Inside NBA. He's supposed to be fired. The NBA Hall of Famer stated that athletes should get the COVID-19 immunization ahead of others due to how much they pay in taxes. 300 million shots, give 1,000 to the NBA players. Imagine that. What a monster, man. NBA players, hockey players, Barkley said on Thursday evening. Now, why did he say NBA, NFL, and hockey players? What about golf? What about tennis? He threw hockey in there to make sure you understood that he was including white people. On Thursday, Barkley said on Thursday evening, listen, as much taxes as these players pay, they deserve some preferential treatment. That is a wicked nigga, man. Like you once again, the scriptures say this. The scriptures say that the job of the rich is to take care of the poor. That's what the scriptures say, man. But not this piece of garbage. This piece of garbage says they should get preferential treatment. If they should get preferential treatment, then we should take over the world. You understand? Because the only way you're going to get some treatment, decent treatment, is if you make more money than the average person, then guess what? Man, we should be in charge. You understand? Because you're an athlete, you get preferential treatment over the elderly, over children, over people in high-risk situations. Charles Barkley is a monster, man. And it's so against the scriptures. So against the scriptures. Let me get a little bit more of what he said. All right. He said, oh, wait a minute. Let me go back. Kenneth Smith, one of his co-panelists, y'all know him very well, pushed back against Barkley's statement and said, life or death, ? Barkley doubled down and explained yes, meaning even if somebody's dying, life or death, somebody's dying, or when it comes down to life or death, the hell with everybody else. Charles Barkley's a monster, and which is why the Lord raising up righteous men. Righteous men have to be raised up so that they can take the place of wicked men that only care themselves. Righteous men put themselves behind those that are suffering and down. They take up the responsibility that the rich are supposed to take up. The wealthy's responsibility is the poor, but in this empire, it is not their responsibility. You understand? In this empire, it's not the wealthy's responsibility to take care of the poor. Their responsibility in this empire is to feed and flour themselves. And that is against the Most High, and is why the Most High is going to bring them down, and why they should be bring down, why they should not be in charge. You understand? Why they shouldn't be in charge. Let me read this. This is James 5:2. Your riches are corrupted. Your garments are moth-eaten. First verse, going above it. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. And they deserve those miseries, man. You understand? They deserve those miseries that's to come upon them. Charles Barkley married an Edomite, joined hands with her, got in loved her, had a family with her, and also put his spirit into serving her and her people in the spirit of Christianity. For him to come out with the statement and say he feel like they should get the vaccine first because of their wealth. Well, and what about all the millions and millions of rich white people? Should they get it before all of the ball players, since they got more money than the ball players and supposedly pay more taxes, which none of that is true? And so they should get it first more. And what about the rich that come over here from around the world, or big corporations that pay big money in taxes, or supposedly pay big money in tax? Should we have a whole tier system? Why the Lord gonna burn these empires to the ground? The Lord gonna burn these empires to the ground. Do you hear me? You have the Lord gonna tear them down. And let me tell you something. We love the poor, the wealthy. And here's what the Lord said. I'm going back to James 2 again. There's so much in it, but I don't want to clog you up with too much of what too much of this. Let me read a little bit. Hearken, my beloved brethren, Have not the Most High chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom, which he hath promised to them that love him? Let me tell you something. This is a profound scripture. You poor and suffering and struggled and had a rough life and then went through hell. Do not look at Charles Barkley's life and envy that life. Don't look at that. The scripture say, envy not the rich, the wealthy. Don't look at that. Do not envy that. Don't look at that. Don't pattern yourself after it. Don't seek to be like it. Turn your spirit against that and seek out the Most High, and the Most High will give you the joy and everything that he has with or without the money. Whatever he has that he is glorying in, it makes him believe he's entitled. The Most High will give you the exact same and more, because you worthy of it. It's just now we in a wicked empire for a moment, not for long, for a moment, but in short time, the Lord these things will turn around. That's why he said this in this James 2nd chapter 5th verse. I'm going to 6. But ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you? This is what James was. James was cutting the hell out of them, man. He said, don't rich men oppress you? That's what Charles Barkley is suggesting here. He's suggesting that we oppress the poor by not giving them their rightful place in line for the vaccine. How diabolical is that, huh? And it just went over a lot of people's head. People didn't make it. They made a little story about it, but people didn't make a big issue of it. And they didn't look into the depth of how evil it is to do this to the Lord's people, man. You understand? I got a couple more examples I want to show you too. I hope you hang with me for a minute, because I'm in this brief time, I'm about to show you a couple quick examples of how wicked these niggas are, man. Use my French. 6th verse. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? That's how they control you, with the power of the law. They say it draws you before the judgment seat. That's what they do. That's what the Edomites do. They pick up the cell phone and call the cops. And I'm attorney so-and-so, and this man spoke to me like he shouldn't have, or lie. Say you stole something, or you harmed them, or you hit them, or something like that. And then you end up locked up, drawn before the judgment seat. And in that seat could be anything, because calling the cops on a black man could mean his death, okay, or near death, okay. They just came out with the story. I wonder if I can find, no, I probably can't. I'll see if I can find them. Somebody get the link, hit me up with the link. Because big shout out to Captain Malquad. Captain Malquad just sent me the link to the interview with Strahan. Strahan had an interview with the brother Jeffries, the brother that was killed by the police, unarmed, going to the car with his children. I mean, it was insane, this interview. The brother said, first of all, another evil black woman. The brother was over the house for a birthday party. This is according to his testimony. He was over the house for the birthday party for one of his children. He was there with the children. He must have brought the children with him, or decided to take him with him, or maybe it was his time to be with him. He's over there with the children, having the birthday party. Children's mother gets in an argument with him. I mean, with another neighbor, not even with him. She gets in an argument with another neighbor. As she gets into the argument with the other neighbor, he says, look, man, I'm out. I'm leaving. He's trying to get the hell out of there. He tries to get out of there, but he wants to take the rent-a-car because he got all the kids with him. That's who was in that car. That was a rent-a-car. They was all up in the minivan. She had rented the car in her name, but he was going to take the car to take the kids. She said, no, you can't take the rent-a-car. You can't take the rent-a-car. So she said, you can't take the rent-a-car? He said, man, I'm taking the rent-a-car. I'm out. Y'all arguing. You're doing all this. I'm out. She turned around and called the cops and said, yeah, gave his name, everything, said he should not be here. He's not supposed to be over here. Now, remember now, he wasn't committing no crime. They rented the car. It just happened to be in her name. He's taking the kids home. That was the point for the rent-a-car. She called Esau. And then the dispatcher pulls his name up and pulls him up and says he's wanted for rape and a weapons violation, which, of course, was false charges put on him that was already dismissed. Okay? Once again, a day in the life of a black man. And what you saw was a total catastrophe that took place once the cops came along. And, you know, he was unarmed and beat the hell out of him. And now he's paralyzed for the rest of his life. Been shot 5 to 7 times, mostly in his back by another animal. And now he's paralyzed. Once again, you're drawn before the judgment seat by the rich and even by black women who will hate you. Black men, we gotta have a total holy reset. You got to take a whole nother look at how life is, because the Lord gave you such great keys in the Bible, but it's been a smoke screen on the Bible. Let me tell you what the smoke screen's been. The smoke screen's been the church, number one. You come up to the church, you walk inside the church, already they playing music. You coming for God, but music is how they trying to get you to God, which music, for anybody, music is soothing music. When you a man trying to find righteousness, you don't look for soft things. You look for the hardness, man, the seriousness of finding God. But when you go to church, you get disarmed. You get disarmed by the music, number one. Then what happens? After you've been disarmed, then you turn around and you're met with alternative lifestyles, preachers, deacons, the choir, known for it, full of alternative lifestyle. That's another smoke screen blocking you right there. You already feeling like, what is going on here? On top of that, you see an enormous amount of overly aggressive and overly sexualized black women. Don't think they ain't overly sexualized as well. There's some overly sexualized, overly frustrated, overly aggressive black women in these churches, in these big churches, with all this opulence in the church, with all this madness going on in front of you. You see all that, you might try to go in there for a minute and deal with it for a minute, but it goes against the grain of a black man's spirit. So you get the hell out of there. And what the hell do? They turn around and say it's just a lot of black men don't have God in them. That's a damn lie. You in the right spirit. And so what happens is all of that cuts you off from getting to the book. And in this book got all the answers. All the jewels are in this book, man. Okay. So let me read something if I could, because I got a couple more. I'm gonna tell you about a couple more stories, but I definitely want to read this to you. Okay. Big shout out to General Haas sent this over to me. This is Jeremiah 5:26 to 28, real quick. Here's what it said. For among my people are found wicked men. Wicked men, man. There are evil, selfish, disgusting men that exist in this world, all over this world, and in every nation, and including ours, man. The Lord came down and brought a heavy slaughter down on the children of Israel. And one brother didn't give it, thumbed his nose up at Moses and them and said, and went and got him a Moabitess, a Chinese woman, and brought her into his tent, which angered the Most High. The priest underneath Moses went down and threw a javelin in that man, killed him and her with one stroke javelin through their body. A javelin, for those of you that may not know, is a long pole like a spear with a tip on the end. And threw the javelin in, it's a weapon. Threw the javelin in between the two of them and killed them both right there in the tent. That's how angry the Lord was, because he just separated us from the mixed multitude. He just separated us, told us to put them away, clean up the nation, get these other heathens out from among you. And this nigga this fool went and grabbed him a Chinese woman and said, damn all that, man, I'm going to have what I want to have. And when the Lord put him to death. And that's the spirit of the wicked men that's among us. Let me read a little bit more. Here's what it says. They lay wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap. They catch men. They lay wait, man. They got all kind of plots and schemes and games on you. They endorse all kind of products that they know are going to destroy your life. They come up with all type of backdoor schemes to harm you. And black leaders in churches, they doing it expeditiously. If Charles Barkley could go behind doors and negotiate with the president or somebody at the CDC and make that happen, he'd make it happen. Don't give a damn how many people die. He'd make it happen, which is why the Lord got to raise you up righteous prophets, brothers that have right judgment, brothers that fear the Most High, and that will do what the Lord said to do. instead of turning against the Most High. Here's what it says. 27th verse. As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. All that they do is full of deceit, man. Full of lies. Man, in the 70s, when you go back into the 70s and look at all the pro-black radicals that were black leaders during the 70s, and if you go and look at their wives, you're going to be shocked out of your mind how many of their wives are white. You're going to see them. You go back and do it when you get some time. Go back to the days of the 60s and the 70s with the black pro, starting with Martin Luther King. Not his wife, but the women he was sleeping with. Many of them were smart enough to know not to marry a white woman, but they still had tons and tons of white women as their delicacy of choice. And Martin Luther King was no different, all while protesting and pro-blacking it up and black power and all that pro-black stuff. Meanwhile, as they all gained prominence and some fame, they all went out and married white women, man. Went out and married white women. Or if they didn't marry them, that's all they slept with. OJ was no different. OJ was no different. Okay, left that black woman, instead pulling up another black woman, went out there and got him a white woman. That's the spirit of these brothers and sisters that are caught up into this world. There's nothing wrong with being entertained by them. But some of you take it in like what they're saying is something you should follow and be influenced by. I wouldn't walk to the water fountain with Charles Barkley, that wicked nigga, man. I wouldn't walk to the water fountain with him. Anything coming out of his mouth between the table and the water fountain is a goddamn lie. A lie, a scheme, or something else horrible, because for him to think that way about his own. And the amazing part about it is you such a hoe. There could be such a hoe in this respect. You made it already. You're successful. You're a multi-millionaire. According to your own testimony, you pay more taxes. So why is it that you find a need to have to give up your soul more? You've already been successful. You're already making money, but you find the need to be more cruel to your own people. And here's what these black leaders don't understand, and these black preachers don't never understand, and they're going to understand it once the Lord raise up the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Here's what they don't understand. They don't understand the pain they cause subconsciously to black people. Like, black people hear them statements, and they watching sports. It's full of black people. They watching it. And then here is this clown who is, representative of the mindsets of a few football players, basketball players, and such, but spreading a poison that gives you the impression that this is how they think. And many of you that go to church, you wicked as hell and think that way as well. So you kind of on the same page as they are. Like, you ain't mad at them for being that way, which is why the Lord gonna burn. This is now you know why nuclear war is coming by the hand of the prophets of by the prophecy of the Lord. Why he gonna burn up all these empires, man? He gonna burn them all to the ground and put Christ in charge of them, and for good reason. You understand? Because to have that kind of mindset and to want to verbalize it publicly, and to put other brothers and sisters in a different category than people who should receive it fairly, because they also pay taxes. And by the way, they pay more taxes than the rich, yet the rich receive everything else. Well, guess what? The Lord gonna raise this nation up to be the rich. And then guess what? You're gonna be sorry for the evil that you did. Let me get some more. It says, as a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore, they have become great and waxen rich. They are waxen fat. They shine. Yea, they overpass the deeds of the wicked, meaning they go past even the white man's wickedness. Like, the white man was enough to at least to say, we got to get vaccines everywhere. The biggest white supremacist sitting in the White House at the time, Donald Trump, even he came out and said, we're going to get vaccines to he lied and said, we want to get vaccines to everybody. We want to get it for every community. Even he came out and said that, being the slimy monster that he is, and a clearly open white supremacist. But here, Charles Barkley, he's either the dumbest fool in the world, or he really don't give a damn because he only thinking about himself and those that are in his circle. And that's more likely what the case is. More likely what the case is, like any selfish pig, he can simply just come together in his mind and deduce in some way why he should get more and why he should get first. Like he sit there and ponder it and come up with a way why he should get more and why he should get first. You understand? Which is wicked as hell, man. Which is wicked as hell. And remember now, here's the other thing. He's talking about, this is a real piece of garbage in this. He's talking about getting the vaccines before his own very fans, before the fans that sit in the stadium and pay $100 a ticket who don't make the money he makes. He's saying let him get the vaccine before them. Let them die. Let their parents die. Let their families die. That's what he's saying. Talking about Esau, of course, because most Jakes cannot even afford that many of them sports games, okay? Just like it was in ancient Rome. The Roman arenas were the same way. You could barely afford, you know, to go to them arenas because it was really for the wealthy, okay? Okay, let me get a little bit more. Here's what it says. This is the middle of 28. Or I'll just take it from the top of 28. They are waxing fat. They shine. Yea, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. They go beyond the deeds of the wicked. They judge not the cause. People like him do not judge the cause. Same with people in church. People in church are so filled with self-righteousness that they can't even judge the cause. If you right and you're so righteous, then you can just look at anybody else like they just not righteous enough. They just full of wickedness. They need to find God. You hear them statements they make. They need more God in their life, or they need to find God. That is an arrogant ass statement. I'm blessed. You know what I mean? You're not blessed. You're cursed. You're in slavery. You're in captivity. You're catching illnesses. Now you're catching the COVID-19 while you're going to church. You can't even go to church. The doors are shut. They got to put bleach in the church. That ain't being blessed. That's a curse. Yet you take it as though you being blessed because you're so arrogant. You're so selfish. You're so full of your own self in these churches, in these wealthy houses of sports figures. You're disgusting and a rotten human being is what you are. And of course, nobody calls you on it because you're wealthy and because everybody around you wants a crumb from your fat table. So, of course, they placate to your bull when really they should be telling you the truth about how immoral monster you are. And Charles Barkley should not be employed by the NBA at all or any organization affiliated with it, making a statement like that. Let me finish it on down. They judge not the cause of the fatherless, yet they prosper. And the right of the needy do they not judge. They don't say to themselves, well, what right do the needy have? Do the needy on the earth have a right? Does he have a responsibility to the needy? In this empire, the wealthy don't have a responsibility for the needy, but the prophets of the Lord do, which is why they will be raised up, just like he did during the time of Christ. After they put Christ to death, Peter and them took over Jerusalem, took it over, ran the Sadducees and Pharisees out of office. They became, like the scripture said, vagabond Jews. They became bums in the street. They became bums in the street because they was wicked as hell. And the consciousness of the Lord's people was raised up, which is what our job is to do, man. Our job is to raise up the consciousness of Black people, Latino people, and Native Indian people. And by raising up their consciousness, they'll stop having abortions, man. Brothers will gain a conscience and say, look, I'm going to find a better way to feed myself than to sell something that's going to kill my own people, than to work for the government by being a drug dealer. If you're a drug dealer, you work for the government, whether you know it or not. If you're a drug dealer, and not only that, you are a warlock. You are a male witch is what you are. But if you could raise your conscience up and break your spirit from that, then the Most High can utilize you to really raise up brothers and sisters and find a better path. That's why they teach you that path of righteousness and caring for your brothers is a weak path. You get that from church. They tell you it's a sucker's path because it's looked at as soft, because they portray it as soft, and they portray it as soft so that you won't get into that path. So mighty men won't say, I will take up the cause of the poor. But meanwhile, when you turn on every single superhero movie, every one of them, every single movie about knights and warriors and medieval days, all the movies, every last one of them is either about saving poor women and children or saving the needy and the weak or delivering a village from an enemy. All of them about that, man. Even the modern ones, Batman and all that, saving Lois Lane, Superman rather. I think he's the one who saves Lois Lane. You know what I mean? Batman and all the rest of them, they all about the same thing. They about those movies and those superhero genres are about saving humanity, saving the poor. They teach that for their own. But meanwhile, your churches teach you the opposite. Your churches teach you to be immoral, to be wicked for your own gain. And then you hear clowns like Charles Barkley, and they reinforce that evil mindset, man, that goes on. Let me show you another one. Besides him, he was disgusting enough as it is. I mean, he was almost, it was insane. Okay, let me read this. Let me get one more for you, if I could. Here's what it says. This is coming out of the news called The Nation. Florida County paramedic, the paramedic of the year, arrested and charged with stealing the COVID-19 vaccine. Didn't we say this? Did we not tell you this was going to happen, man? This is exactly what we said was going to happen. They stealing the COVID-19 vaccines from the poor blacks and Latinos and getting paid off of it on the black market. And listen, and using brothers and sisters to do it. Lakeland, Florida. Okay. Polk County, Florida. Okay. The paramedic of the year. That takes a lot to be a county paramedic of the year. Okay. Has been arrested and charged with stealing COVID-19 vaccines. Joshua Colon, Latino brother, 31, was arrested Monday by Polk County Sheriff's Office after confessing to intentionally stealing three doses, I bet you it was a lot more, of Moderna vaccine, then forging paperwork in an attempt to cover his actions, according to the sheriff's office. I told you, y'all was worrying about, I ain't taking no vaccine. You ain't got to worry about taking the vaccine. They stealing it from you. They trying to find ways to convince Esau to not even give you the vaccine. Charles Barkley was saying, man, look, we should get it first. Like, once again, this is an animal spirit in this place. And after a while, the rich and the wealthy and your entertainers, and especially that black preacher, they're going to show you how much they really love you. Or more clearly, they're going to show you how much they hate you. What's the name of that devil that has that big church down there in Houston? Y'all know him. Oh man, what is his name? Y'all got to remember his name for me. Let me power this thing up. Y'all bear with me a second. This camera cracking. Okay. Get back in zone. The camera over. Okay. Y'all know him, man. The big mega church cat. Joel Osteen. That's right. Joel Osteen, that piece of garbage. Like, this cat here, that monster turned around out during that Houston situation and said, nah, we ain't taking him in. He locked the doors on his church during that flood, during that hurricane. He locked the doors. They hate you, man. You can't see it. You can't see the evil demon that's among them. You can't see the immorality among them. If the churches open up their voices in righteousness, man, the whole black community would change overnight, but they're wicked as hell. Okay? They wicked as hell. So let me go back to this story right quick. Excuse me. Let me get it in. Here's what it says. He forged the paperwork, and here's what he said. Here's what the Polk County Trust said. We have a responsibility to uphold the community's trust, said Robert Weech, the chief, the Polk County Fire Rescue. We found in one of these opportunities, we didn't do that. We are deeply disappointed. And I bet you, brother, for the little bit that he's took, I bet you they taking it by the truckload. They taking it by the truckload. And it don't matter who takes it or don't. You don't want to take it. Listen, this between you and your doctor. My point is, don't be spooked by it. Don't let the witchcraft of evil men fool you. That was my point in bringing the whole thing out, was to not let the witchcraft of evil men use you and use your fear of the vaccine to destroy you. I showed you the tape of what that brother did when he had all them women sell their houses and sell what they had and fly over to Egypt thinking that the H1N1 vaccine or whatever virus was going on at the time was going to get everybody killed and they'd be harvesting your organs. And them people sold their houses and sold what they had and flew over to Egypt and gave this fool their money. And they went up there, had a good orgy time and ran through them women and passed them around and told them they didn't want to marry them and did all kind of dastardly stuff. And when they got finished with them, they just got back on a plane, came back to America, wiped their mouth and said, we made a mistake. And just went on business as usual when them people's families was looking for them. And some people still stuck overseas in other countries and damn near started their whole lives elsewhere in some of those Greek islands and different places that's not far from Egypt, going north of Egypt, trying to get the hell up out of there. And who knows how many of them might have been killed in all that wave of people trying to get up into Europe. It's been a mess, man. So my point is, don't let the demons who would brainwash you and to have your mind taken by listening to stupidity and witchcraft have you in fear of the vaccine. Go talk to your doctor. Your doctor say don't take it, don't take it. You don't want to take it, don't take it. But don't let them tell you that something's going to happen to you and this and that and all that other garbage that's going on that they putting out, man. That's just to bring fear. Meanwhile, while you doing that, the rich, they ready to cut you off and make sure you don't get it when it could, it may very well be what you need to save your life. But they would cut you the hell off. And that's the bigger thing. The bigger thing to look at is where do our hearts lie with wickedness, man? We have to push wickedness to the side and wicked men to the side, man. Let me get a little bit more on that, and I'm going to show you one more after this, all right? It says here, we have a responsibility to uphold. According to Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, Cologne said he stole the vaccines a month. Wait a minute. We get a little bit more. Bear with me a second, y'all. Said he stole the vaccines this month at the request of his supervisor, Tony Damiano. There you go. There go that mobster, Tony Damiano, who sought the vaccine for his elderly mother. So he says. So they still, so the very paramedics and those that's supposed to be distributing the vaccine, they stealing the vaccines, sending it to their family and friends, stealing the vaccines and selling it to the rich like they did in New York City. They're still under investigation how a truckload of vaccines walked in a clinic, walked back out the clinic and ended up somewhere else. And now they don't even know who distributed it or where the hell the vaccines went. This is how they operate in this empire, man. Why you need real leadership, man, righteous leadership, men of the Lord. Why you should be in the ISUPK and why I say what I say. Why I say what I say about this evil place, man. And it ain't just this country. It's not even just to America. This is all over the world. Everybody's dancing to the tune of Satan. And the righteous have to dance to the tune of the Lord. You got to have enough. That's why you got to read the scriptures. Singing and dancing in church is getting you destroyed. You got to read these scriptures. You got to read these events that took place in the world, in the ancient world, and see how these events took place and why they took place. They're motivated by some of the most common reasons: selfishness, greed, lust. That's all. Same. Satan uses the same tool in the toolbox many times over. You don't necessarily go get a whole lot of new stuff, but he uses a lot of times the same stuff he used in the toolbox before. And as a result, you get destroyed. Society gets destroyed. Your people get wiped the hell out. You understand? So you have to learn these things. The Lord put them here for you to learn them so you can discern what not to do and what to do. 350,000 of our sisters walked into an abortion clinic and killed their baby because they either thought they needed to, thought that they didn't want to have a child because it was going to affect their life, thought that they was going to mess up their career, thought all these things, okay? And because of it, took a life, committed a murder, okay? That's what this place teaches you, to be comfortable with that, to be good with that. They teaching us that with our black men, killing our black men so much so you can get comfortable with black men being murdered. Meanwhile, when they stormed that Capitol, they still ain't in jail, most of them. Most of them posted bond and they home, waiting trial. That one guy pulled up afterwards, after they brought in the National Guard, he pulls up to the gate with 5,000 rounds of 500, I believe it was 500 rounds of ammunition, his weapons in the car, in a secure area for the Capitol. He's home. He out talking to news reporters. The Edomite from Kenosha, that Rittenhouse that went in there and took the lives of 2 people during that protest, claiming he was supporting the businesses up there when all of that was a lie. He was going up there and seeing who he could kill with that rifle, specifically blacks and Latinos. Cops was giving him water, cheering him on, giving him water, telling him to be safe. And sure enough, he went up there, man, and shot the hell out of 2 people, took their life. They find out he in the bar having drinks, kicking it live, and giving up white supremacist signs in the bar. You know, just turned age really to drink. He in the bar getting drunk, throwing up signs, all of that. Judge had to put a gag order on him. That's what's happening with them. But you being trained and taught to accept this murder that's going on. And then here's another smoke screen. You seeing the Biden come in. They got Kamala Harris up there. They're appointing a Negro over every office of the government, the Pentagon, the Capitol. They're finding every Negro they can find to fill them seats up there in Capitol Hill to give you another illusion that things are wonderful. When if things are wonderful, they would have went and got every last one of them cops and they'd be in cages right now. But them cops are back on the job or on paid leave and walking around with their gun on their hip. And what they were doing before they raided the Capitol is another amazing big question, because Lord knows they was in all them white supremacist groups. As a part of them white supremacist groups, that's how they catching them all. Okay, because they were all in them groups. You understand? So it's time to wake up and see the smell the coffee on what's really happening in the earth. We coming to the end. And the Lord need prophets, man. He sent them 12 out, man, telling them to go in the highways and byways, man. Go in the hedges. Raise up the 12 tribes of children of Israel. We've been sent out there, man, and it's an honor. It's been an honor to do this job, to be a part of this work. It's been an absolute honor. And it will continue to be an honor until Christ returns, to the brothers that do it. Okay? Let me get some more on this. I think that's it on that one. Let me get one more article for you, because this is another one that took place in Canada against our brothers and sisters in Canada, which was also horrible as hell. So let's get that too. Check this out. Once again, this is the spirit of this place. Charles Barkley is a demon, man. A demon. And which is why the Lord, and once again, man, y'all know this. The Lord said, that's why the Lord said, man, do not send your sons and daughters to marry these other nations, for they will turn from following me. That's why he said that. He said, don't send them to do that. Don't let them. Black people is killing 350,000 babies a year in poverty. Caribbean people dying all over the Caribbean in poverty. Okay? Native Indians, forget about it. The genocide program ain't never stopped since the day Esau got off that damn boat. Since the day they parked that boat on that shore, they've been killing our Native Indian brothers and sisters ever since. And all of that, none of that make you say to yourself, man, let me try to preserve my own. Let me make a better choice, especially since I'm been educated. But what really is going on is you being educated by your slave master. And because you educated by him, you also accepting the brainwashing. How you going to be educated by him and brainwashed by it? Then you accept the brainwashing, and what do? You go out and get one of his people, and you embrace his ideology, and you embrace his mindset. What does being a good basketball player have to do with you hating your own so much that you believe you should get the vaccine and all of the NBA, NFL, and hockey before your people who have suffered 400 years in the ghettos and the slums of the evilest empire ever erected on the face of the earth, man? What the hell are you thinking? And I'll bet you he go to church. I'll bet you he go to church and got a favorite preacher. I'll put money on it. The hell you going to be thinking that way, man? Let me show you this other one. Canadian casino mogul resigns after he and his wife are busted snagging vaccines meant for indigenous people. He's a mogul, huh? And what was he doing? Buying vaccines on the black market. We said it. We said they wasn't going to give it to you. They was going to try to block you from it. Every time they steal one, that's one never coming down to you, even though they rolling out millions of them. Okay? A casino magnate has resigned as CEO of Great Canadian Gaming Corporation. This is in Canada. After being busted with his wife for cutting in front of the vulnerable, elderly, indigenous people for a coronavirus vaccine. So them Gadites and whoever else is sitting up there in them woods up in that Yukon up there, living humbly and poor, living off the land, trying to keep their traditions, waiting on the Lord to end these empires so that they and their people can blossom back up off of these reservations. They sitting up there. Finally, they're going to come out now and go get the vaccine. These bastards come and jump in front of them and use their money and power and influence and wealth and steal them vaccines from them. That amounts to murder, man. On one level, you want to look at it on one level, it's an attempted murder charge. You understand? If black people were stealing the vaccines, I bet you it'd be that. They'd say, well, they're endangering the lives of the elderly, and they'd be charging them with it. Like, they can get creative with them charges when it comes to something we doing. Something we doing, they get creative. That's why they came up with the 3 strike rules. You got brothers in prison right now doing 20, 30 years still. Life in prison because of that 3 strike rules for nothing. For nothing. They sent one young brother, sent him to jail for life in prison because his 3rd strike was he stole a loaf of bread. Gave him life in prison. They gave another brother life in prison because he stole a pair of hedges. And the response from Esau and black churches was, well, he shouldn't have stole it. So because he stole it, the punishment should be the rest of his life because he picked up a $5 pair of hedges or $1.39 loaf of bread. Because he did something wrong, his judgment should be life. I hope they remember that when Christ's kingdom gets set up. I hope when Christ's kingdom set up, they remember how they laid out such horrible judgment on the Lord's chosen. Because for sure, when Christ sets his kingdom up, he will be discussing these type of issues. He'll be discussing how, just like Joe Biden came in and his administration is now changing over all the laws and all the rules from the white supremacist side of the empire. That's how they do it. They play it. The white supremacist side come in, they switch it, then they let the multicultural side come in and they let them play ball for a while. Then when they get tired of that, they switch it back. Okay, let's give it back to the white supremacists. Let them play ball. Just like they switching them empires every time they put a new president in, Christ's going to switch the empire. Only difference with Christ's kingdom, when he switched the empire, guess what? His empire ain't never falling. It won't be changing after that. His empire will be forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. You'll be sitting in your rocking chair, getting ready to retire from your job at 65 or whatever age it is during Christ's kingdom. And as you doing that, your grandson will be having a son. Your great-grandson or your great-great-grandson will just be being born. And that little guy will be crying in the crib. And whatever it is job that you had for your entire life, and your father before him, and your father before him, and your son, and your son's son, and your son's son's son, guess what? That little boy gonna get that same job, and that's gonna be an appointed job by Christ, an appointed job in a kingdom that will never end. That job gonna be, you talk about job security. You're gonna have job security, all right. You're gonna have that job for 1,000 generations. And them jobs gonna be amazing because they're gonna be ruling the world with Christ. Them crowns that you get put on your head when he get his kingdom set up, see, nobody will be overthrowing his kingdom. So if nobody's overthrowing it, it'll go on and on and on and on forever. And since it'll go on forever, whatever that crown is he gave you, you're going to have forever and ever and ever. But to get that crown, man, you're going to have more morals than Charles Barkley, man. You have to give a damn about black people better than the beast. You can't be more wicked than the beast himself and think you're going to get a piece of that kingdom, man. That's why Christ said, accept your righteousness. Surpass the righteousness of the Sadducees and Pharisees, ye shall in no wise enter the kingdom of heaven. You understand? They give away food and they do different little things, but they ain't doing it on the scale they supposed to be doing it, and they ain't doing it for the right reason. A lot of times it's for show, tax shelters, propaganda. That's why they do these things. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. And the Lord said, unless you surpass that righteousness, lest you be bout it with raising up his people that's in captivity, man. Lest you bout it, willing to sacrifice everything you have and stand with him in a real battle of righteousness with a real reward. Then you ain't in no wise worthy of that kingdom, man. You know wise worthy, because them brothers and sisters that's going to get up in that kingdom, brother, they going to the gala every year. They're getting ready to go to the presidential palace every year for the Passover. Every year they'll be eating the best lamb on the planet with the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. When the Edomites are up in the caves eating shrubs, because damn near nothing grow up there but potatoes in them Caucasus Mountains, potatoes and herbs. That'll be their basic diet. Maybe a few goats up on the mountain. They'll be up in there. They're going to be trying to serve the Passover too, because everybody going to want to do whatever Christ does in that kingdom. So they'll be sitting up in there like, we're going to serve the Passover. We're going to have these 2 potatoes and they'll seek sympathy while they're poor and struggling and suffering. They'll be seeking sympathy while you'll be in the palace in opulence, in greatness. Like you ain't never seen a kingdom that ain't never had war for 10,000 years. You ain't never seen it. 50,000 years. 100,000. Imagine a kingdom that's never seen war for 100,000 years. That kingdom could do what it want to do. That kingdom would be so wealthy and powerful and so amazing. If this is what this evil, wicked, controversial kingdom could do in a matter of a few hundred years, in a few hundred years, they traveling in space and building satellites and have remote controls and technology and cell phones. This is just a little couple years. Imagine what that kingdom will be. But you got to be better than Charles Barkley if you want that. If you want that, if that's a better choice, you got to be better than the immoral, man. Like this piece of garbage. Let me finish this up, y'all. It said officials in the Yukon said that Rodney Baker, 55, and his wife, 32-year-old aspiring actress, I can't pronounce her name, Baker, allegedly flew to the remote Beaver Creek to get the highly coveted vaccine. The highly coveted vaccines. That COVID-19 vaccine, they trying to give it to the indigenous people. These rich Edomites said, man, I want that vaccine. I told you before, they was giving donations out to hospitals and doctors. Them doctors are getting so much cream under the table now and so much money. You think they was getting money off of them Oxycontin pills. They was selling that Oxy under the table like them pharmacists was getting rich under the table with that Oxy. Them doctors was getting paid off of all them painkillers, that syrup. They was making a king's ransom off of them joints. Then the COVID came along. And now that's the big money game now. Because, of course, they'll pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get that vaccine to jump ahead of the line. But nobody cares about the Lord's chosen. Which is why Christ passed everybody else. When everybody ran, when you go back and read the story, when everybody ran into the river to be healed, they ran into the river to be healed and didn't care about anybody but themselves. When the angel came down, y'all know the story. When the angel came down into the river and stirred up the water, it was a time when everybody went into the water because whatever sin you had, that sin was cleansed. So the brother who was laying in the bed couldn't get himself up and get in that water. Could you imagine the frustration? You paralyzed, laying on the bed on the edge of the beach, and all you hoping for is that one day somebody come along and pick you up and say, come on, man, we're going to get in the water while it's stirred up so I can get you healed. You hoping one day somebody would do that. But year after year, this angel come down and you laying on the bed while you watching everybody run into the water saying, oh my God, I'm healed. Oh my God, they coming out the water. Whoa, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. They thanking the Lord to be healed and don't give a damn about this brother. He laying there on the bed, can't get healed. I mean, I would lose my damn mind. I would lose my mind. Every year I'm laying on this bed, sun shining. I know the day is coming. Angel come down, stir up the water. I see nothing but blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians running into the water. All of them getting healed, coming back. They refreshed, they brand new, happy, strong, all of that. I'm stuck on the bed, paralyzed. Nobody come to get you. But that's who Christ thought about. Christ went and healed that brother, man, and said, pick up your bed, man. That's who Christ is. That's why he deserves to be king. He didn't think about going in that water himself and getting healed or taking the burden that was on him off. Instead, he cared about delivering this brother who'd been laying on this bed all this time. And so he got delivered, that brother. And brother, that's the mindset of a man of God, a real man of God, not that slimy piece of garbage you got in that church or that disgusting announcer or entertainer that you looking at that's so special and great. You don't understand how you measure a man. You must measure a man based on his righteousness, not based on his talent, but his righteousness. And if you come into I.S.U.P.K, you're going to see amazing righteousness in brothers and sisters. You're going to see amazing righteousness. And when you see that amazing righteousness, then you're going to be like, oh, now I get it. Now I understand it. It's not understood in the churches. It's not understood that you're in the wrong place. You're looking for the wrong thing in the wrong place, and that's why you lose. That's why you caught up. That's why you don't understand what you should understand that comes from the Most High. You understand? Let me get another scripture on it. Jeremiah 23, 1 and 2, real quick. Woe unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, man, saith the Lord. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away and have not visited them, man. You didn't care for them. You got your money. You scattered the flock. You got paid. You're wealthy. When you going to go visit the Lord's flock? You better, because guess what? When he come back and see you have not visited them, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a major problem. Okay? Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon the evil of your doings, saith the Lord. Every brother's job is to take care of this nation. If you are a black man, your job is to raise this nation up. If you are a West Indian man, your job is to raise this nation up. If you are a Latino brother, Puerto Rico, from Puerto Rico all the way to the tip of Mexico and every Caribbean island and Latino island of indigenous, Negro, and Indian descended people, it is your responsibility to raise up this nation. And the same goes for any of you brothers that's on these reservations. You can forget about crying about it now. You better raise this nation back up and turn them back to Christ and put that special spirit of morality in there. That special zeal of raising their own and fixing righteousness and getting away from evil and putting down our sins and lust and self-desires that have done so much damage to us over these years, man. Putting it down, cleaning us up before we get in the wilderness with Moses, so to speak. That's your responsibility. That's your job. Okay. If you don't, the Lord said, I will visit you upon your own doings, man, saith the Lord. You understand? Here's Ezekiel 13:4. O Israel, Lord's chosen people, our special people on this earth, man. Everybody thought it was the so-called Jew. Oh, that's the chosen. That's the chosen. That's just another Edomite nation that's doing what all the other Edomite nations did, built themselves up in carnality with weapons and all of that, and preparing themselves for what they don't even believe or know is about to happen, the Third World War. They all going down into that valley of Jehoshaphat. They all going. Every last one of them are going in there. But when you begin to examine blacks and Latinos and Native Indians and the amazing people they are, and let me tell you something, man, you better learn how to just at least love your own. Like, our people hate our own. You're bitter and bitten and scorned by what you've suffered again with you and your own. And you suffered it because of their ignorance and your ignorance. So you got to renew it all. It's what it means to become brand new, born again. We got to be born again with a mindset to fix what was wrong and to get rid of the evil that caused us so much pain from each other, and to see the real cause of this pain, which really comes from your slave master, that animal ruling over you, that is a thoughtless beast. That's who you really got to look at. O Israel, thy prophets, this is Ezekiel 13:4. Thy prophets are like the foxes in the deserts, man. Ye have not gone up onto the gaps, neither made up the hedges for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord. We coming up on that day of the Lord now. And you haven't done what was necessary to make black people, Latino people, and Native Indian people able to survive in this day. You haven't given them what they need. These churches don't give you that. Neither does the mosque. None of them give you what you need to survive in this day. The churches are sending you to your slave master, the Edomites, and the Arab and the Muslim. The mosque is sending you to your Arab slave ex-Arab slave masters, the Middle East. And so you are unprepared because you are not building up you. You ain't putting you first. You ain't putting your families and tribes first. You like Charles Barkley. He think like an Edomite. We making money up here. Put us first. That ain't what Christ did. And let me tell you something else too. Christ should be the measure that you measure any man. You should measure a man not because he say he like Christ, but because he do what Christ says. A lot of you, a preacher put on a suit and tie and sing and dance and child molest as soon as he get off the stage, and you recognize him as a man of God, regardless of what spills out the closet. Why don't you do the same with the Lord, man? Why don't you raise up the Lord's people and be right with them? Why don't you see the prophets in the I.S.U.P.K and see their righteousness and measure them for right? Instead of just measuring these people who you clearly see are doing evil against the Lord's people, man. Imagine that you going to church every day, your preacher agrees with abortion. You going to church every day and he agrees with abortion. And you sitting up there like a big dummy, accepting it, singing and dancing and holy Jesus and Jesus' blood. That's why I made so much fun over the congresswoman who was down on the floor hiding behind the pews. Because that same sister, looked at the abortion laws like they was wonderful. Looked at it like it was, excellent that they passed these laws to keep killing our babies, man. Calling it reproductive health. Now it's healthcare. I guess killing a black man is healthcare, huh? It's healthy for you if you can kill it. If you can kill a black man, sure. It's a healthy thing. Insane, man. Here's what the Lord says. Ezekiel, 13th chapter. Okay, middle of 5th verse. I'm starting from the top of 5th verse. Ye have not gone into the gates, neither made up the hedges for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord. 6th verse. They have seen vanity and lying divination. That's your churches, man. They seen vanity. God gonna bless you. You see his rolls, think you gonna get one. You see his limo, think you gonna get one. You see his diamond ring, think you gonna get one. You brainwash. You see his big church, you think you're going to have a big house. You see his fine clothes, you think you're going to have fine clothes. The Lord said, man, you have seen vanity and lying divination. And telling them talk around, call themselves prophets. God told me this and God told me that. And they produce the Charles Barkleys of this world. That's who they produce. They produce evil, selfish, wicked, grimy monsters, man. Just like the scripture said, man, they shall bring forth monsters, man. When a man should seek to be right with the Most High, should seek righteousness, seek to change himself, seek to be brand new. Here's what it says, middle of 6. Saying, the Lord saith, and the Lord have not sent them, and they have made others to hope that they would confirm the word. And that was Martin Luther King did it best. Made you to hope that the day would come that you would be in this empire and little black boys and little white girls would be holding hands in this empire. Well, the white supremacists just stormed the Capitol. Ain't a whole lot of hand holding going on right now. And they just finished storming the Capitol. Black men still being shot down dead in the street, incarcerated on massive levels. That dream is a nightmare. And they hoping people with that dream, with that nightmare. 7th verse. Have ye not seen a vain vision? It's a vain vision, man. And have ye not spoken a lying divination? The whole black mindset in this empire is wrong, man. Whereas ye say, the Lord saith it, albeit I have not spoken. They say the Lord said it. This is what God wants. Why, when they had the inauguration, they had every religious denomination up there to endorse that inauguration. How you gonna go up there and claim you a man of God? Go up there and anoint the president, knowing that part of his agenda is to kill 350,000 babies in the abortion clinic, and you get up there with your priest collar on and singing and praying and God, Jesus, bless Joe Biden and all this. You're a monster, man. You're a conspirator to the death of God's chosen people, man. You're a collaborator of Satan, man, against the Most High, man. And you see the evil in you, and you blind brothers and sisters that see it as well. You understand? You blind them and see it as well. You know what I mean? So I'm going to leave it right there, man. I had so much fun. I hope you did too, man. Thanks for spending this little time with me. My name's Commander General Yohanna, the I.S.U.P.K. I want to tell you about this Passover coming up. Support this truth. Pay your tithes. Check us out, ISUPK.com. Join me Monday night. We do it up live every Monday night. Bring the heavy hitters in with me. Hit all the latest topics, man. Break them down and wash them through the scriptures and open your eyes to everything that's going on. You take care of you and yours, man. You want counseling, get in touch with us also on our website. We got free counseling. A lot of brothers and sisters need counseling, especially in this time, losing a lot of family members, a lot of situations going on. And you can contact me also directly. You can contact me at Yohanna at ISUPK.org. Hit me up when you get a chance. All right. Lord be with you all. I'll see you next time. Shalom.
For the rebel, busy man shit, nigga. They take their head over, nigga.
Where Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like stamps. and I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, oh they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying. This shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Circle up and stay alert. Another cop just stretch the nigga. He a demon, this that exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit and I ain't listening. Is it factive? If revenge was a woman, now I stroke that bitch like Jack the Ripper. War, we gon' run the summer. It's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young baby. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? When he said something, I ain't hear him. This shit light. It ain't about who got the gun, it's about who gon' up that pipe first. I turn a bad situation to a game changer. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Free shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand and feed you, you'll never get that hand back. He bitchin' about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, I with that hollow sign, yeah, this the rim accord. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still about my bread, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.